going too fast. I'm taking 3.
Going for the St. Louis now.
Oh, no.
Son of a bitch.
You get your 2?
Yeah.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thotgor here, of course, and happy holidays to all. Whatever you happen to celebrate, whatever you happen to do during this time of year, I do hope you enjoyed it. Of course, I had a great time. All of that lovely stuff is coming to an end here, so we're going to get more time for the videos, which is good, because I do have quite a few videos I want to get out. Of course, you guys have been sending me a lot of replays as well that I want to get recorded and get up on the channel, and having the week off work this week, hopefully that'll all get done. Something else, we have Secret Santa going on in the game right now. Now, some of you were kind enough to gift me some presents, and I do very much want to thank you very, very much. Of course, I handed out a few presents myself. I hope that those made their way to you and that you enjoy them. I got an Atlanta, a Warspite, and an Izuchi amongst some camo and flags is what I got out of mine, so I was very, very happy with that, trying to figure out the Atlanta. Here's a question before we get into our Shimakaze replay for Atlanta players. Should I be going Demolition Expert for the level 4 captain ability, or should it be Advanced Fire Training? I'm not 100% sure. I did take Demolition Expert, and then immediately once I did it, I thought it was a mistake, because 11 kilometers seems crazy to me, but whatever. Maybe that's what you're supposed to do. We'll see. Still working on it. Anyway, in the Shimakaze today, yes. I've been messing around with the Japanese destroyers more as of late, because the campaign missions that I'm on right now, I'm trying to spot 2 enemy destroyers, and you must be in a destroyer to do that. Now, the only destroyers I have at tier 8, 9, and 10 are Japanese, so obviously I'm going to be playing those. Shimakaze by far is the best out of all of those 3 tiers. I really enjoy the Shimakaze, and I feel as though the Shimakaze is a little more powerful than maybe she once was. I don't know, maybe this is just because I never really played her that often, but I have really been enjoying her, and we're going to have a pretty decent game in the Shimakaze in this battle here. The Yagumo at tier 8 is it's alright. It took me a little while to get used to her. I was on the fence as to whether or not I wanted the 10-kilometer torpedoes for her or the 8-kilometer torpedoes for her. I did go for the 8s. I went for the 8s for a number of reasons. Yeah, nice little lucky kill there. Well, not really lucky, right? I did shoot those into the smoke, hoping, and yeah, it worked out. But anyway, debated with those torpedoes, and yes, I did end up going with the 8-kilometer torpedoes. I just wanted the little extra speed that they offered there, and I just felt that that made a big difference, especially considering the concealment on the Yagumo is very good at about 6 kilometers. That is without concealment expert on your captain, because I don't have that on my captain on that ship as of yet. Another nice torpedo hit there, and a little bit of flooding, but yeah, if we keep watching the counter there, we can see, yeah, definitely put it out. Now, I am flying a number of flags on the Shimakaze. I think I have it maxed out at 8, and obviously I am increasing the chance of flooding and fires that every time my guns or torpedoes hit anything, so that's very good. And then, obviously, running the anti-detonation flag, because those increases your chances of detonation. At tier 8, the Kagero. They reworked the Kagero, right? I was a fan of the Kagero at tier 9 in the old days. I thought she was a great, decent destroyer at tier 9. My biggest criticism of her was that she only had 2 sets of torpedo launchers as opposed to 3, because you can get a lot more done with the 3rd set of torpedo launchers than you might think, although that's probably fairly obvious. But anyway. Big problems with the Kagero, I think. The biggest problem that Garrett actually pointed out, and he was talking to me about it, but this was before I actually tried her out for myself since the split of the line. The Kagero is painfully slow. painfully slow. And because she's so slow, it does mean that if you start to engage something, you are committed, because you will not be able to run away from that vessel. It just isn't going to happen. Basically, everything is faster than you, including some battleships, which is scary at the best of times. So you really do have to fight. Are they? No, the battleships aren't faster than Kagero at tier 8. My mistake. They are barely just a little slower. You're still not going to be able to outrun. Like in North Carolina, for example, it's not going to happen because the distance between the two of you is going to remain very small, and he'll still be able to see you, so just not going to happen. But anyway, biggest criticism there about the Kagero, it's just not so great. On the other Japanese front, I have the Hatsu Aru, which is tier 6 on the new line, and I'm working on her. I'm, not really doing anything too putting too much effort into it, I should say. Again, I'm still grinding away my tier 8, 9s, and 10s for those campaign missions, right? Which is something else maybe we should talk about a little here as well as we do our update. We have some new missions in-game, specifically the Graphspay. I cannot wait to get the Graphspay. I'm very excited that they've decided to give that ship away as the sort of gift ship for the year. If you recall, last year I believe it was the Edmund, so pretty big jump there, pretty big jump, so I'm very excited about that. I pity the fools who have gone out and spent $100 or more on a package for the Graphspay, which kind of seems weird, but whatever. Okay, I mean, if you've got the money, may as well go and do it. Why not? But still, I'm very excited for the Graphspay. I mean, I know that the ship is not going to be fantastic. It's obvious, but I'm still excited. I've seen her in battle, and it looks pretty good. And you got to keep in mind, at tier 6, she's a pocket battleship. What pocket battleship means is she is a cruiser hull fitted with battleship guns. Basically, the best, or the heaviest guns that this thing could possibly carry. That's what she's got. Now, some would say that the Admiral Hipper, Prince Eugen are also pocket battleships. I would argue that. They are really more heavy cruisers. They don't have battleship guns. They have heavy cruiser guns and heavy cruiser. So more or less. But the Graphspay is an excellent example of a pocket battleship. We have some torpedoes on the way down for the German battleship. We're hoping to get a few hits here. Again, these are Shimakaze torpedoes, so they will do a bunch of damage, and we do bit of damage there on the old Frederick de Gross. 2 hits, not too bad. You can see for the majority of this battle, I have been staying in and around B. I'm not really looking to get too crazy. I'm just trying to defend B. My team had a pretty decent plan in that they were going to take A, or, well, I think actually they were going to take C, and then something happened, and they ended up taking A. I'm not 100% sure. All I've been focused on is B. Just trying to keep B away from the enemies, right? If we happen to cap it, that is a bonus, but at the very least, we talk about it all the time, the goal here is just simply to prevent the capture of the points, so the enemy doesn't gain points from it. I know that means we won't gain points from it, but also the enemy isn't going to gain points from it, which is very important. If we do happen to cap it and start gaining points, great. And there we go. We do end up capping it. Fantastic. So we can see we have quite a bit of enemies down there in the south. Barely got away from this Zhao here. That was close. I know we did scratch our paint there a little, but still, I thought I was going to ruin that player's day because I wasn't paying attention at all. I really didn't want to mess up that player. Another destroyers that are in the game now here as well, obviously, are the German destroyers. We've heard some mixed reviews on these destroyers, I'm sure, as you know. Some of my friends here in game have, both sides of the fence. Some refuse to play the German destroyers until they're, quote-unquote fixed. Others are saying, well, it's not so bad. I do have started the German destroyers. I'm on tier 5. I've got the tier 5, the T-22, I believe, is what it's called, and the T-22 is definitely the crap box of the line. It is it is not a great destroyer. Now, that being said, I've actually had some really decent games in that boat, in that ship, I should say. I don't know if it is even a ship. Well, I'll say it's a boat. Really great games in her. So, surprising, but she's really not that great. What doesn't make her good are the guns. The guns are very awful. The torpedo armament isn't too bad, but then you couple that with some of the other disadvantages that the German destroyers have, like really short smoke times, not being particularly fast. It really does make for some interesting gameplay, challenging gameplay. Barely avoid that Shimikaze's torps. I knew those torps were coming, right? We saw the Shimikaze, we knew torps were on the way. Managed to take out an enemy battleship, so that is fantastic. And that reminds me, I wonder how is everyone doing on these 2017 missions that are in game as well, earning the medals? I've gotten them all. I think the only one I don't have is the one where you have to torpedo one of every class of ship, right? So I don't think I'm pretty sure I haven't torpedoed an aircraft carrier as of yet. And that's another reason why I've been playing the destroyers as well, because I'm trying to get that done as well. So fingers crossed that that'll happen eventually. But yeah, so those are some cool missions that they do have going on in the game, and I have a bunch of those 2017 camos, so it's as if Wargaming is just giving away free experience for us all here to slowly work our way towards the Missouri, so I guess that's pretty good. Battle so far has been going pretty well indeed. I have my team has gotten A and B. The enemies are still sort of down here at sea, but we can see there's only two of them left, so we really don't have too much to worry about here in terms of whether or not we're going to lose. The biggest thing that we want to watch out for here is we just don't suddenly get killed at the end, right? That is never good, especially after a pretty decent game that we've had here in the Shimikaze. I mean, the Shimikaze is definitely able to do a whole lot more damage than 119,000 that we've done in this battle, but it's still not too bad. We've gotten the 2 kills, number of torpedo hits, first blood, and the devastating strike. But I really, really wish they would up the limit on how many times you can earn flags for the medals in game, because like I don't know how many times I get first blood in a day. It happens a lot, and I'm not trying to brag or talk myself up or anything. I'm just saying it happens a lot, and I want more flags for it. Witherer, I get Witherer multiple times a day. It is ridiculous how often I get it. Sierra Mike, what is that? Double strike. I got 3 double strikes yesterday, and I only got 10 flags. So come on, maybe we could get 2 in a 24-hour period or something like that. Just a little more. The super containers, I mean, they're great and all. I am always going to be going and try your luck, and I don't know if that's good or not, but it's what I've been doing. I have gotten a few super containers, a few nice super containers, but not many. So, if I can just get more flags, that would be amazing, because I do want more flags. I've never actually had to buy any flags, which is always nice. Battle is over. Victory is ours. Not too bad. 575,000 credits as well in the Shimikaze. Wasn't expecting it, but very, very happy to do it. Top of the team overall, which is another thing I was not expecting, and happy to see that it ended up that way. We can see how some of the damage is broken down. Of course, doing most of the damage to the enemy Hindenburg, I believe. That player, whoops, didn't really know what was going on. We earn another captain point, which is fantastic, because I don't have concealment expert on the Shimikaze captain as of yet. No, I need to, I think, one more point. Yeah, it'll take a little while, but one more point and I'll be able to get it. So that is pretty good indeed. Moving on to the next clip. Now, we'll see that the video is a little smaller. I have been playing with my resolutions a little here, so that's all that's going on. And this time around, we're in the Kutuzov. I really, really enjoy this ship. It is fantastic. I think that playing a Kutuzov is what it must feel like to play a Flint. Although, you might feel a little more godly in the Flint, maybe. But the Kutuzov is pretty damn close, I have to imagine, because it's just the sheer awesomeness of being able to sail on up to someone, pop your smoke, disappear, and then just pump armor pierce or high explosive into them. It's amazing. Yeah, we get a little bit of lag here at the beginning of the game. Not sure what that's all about, but it does clear up, so no big deal. But anyway, hotspot. They have added Bastion on hotspot now as well, and I forget what the other map. No, I think it is hotspot I'm thinking of. But when you spawn, there's one of these new maps where they have Bastion, and when you spawn, you are immediately in range of the fort. And the fort will just destroy you. Like some people were saying, like 30,000 damage that the fort did before they were able to, load into the game, get their ship up to speed, and get the hell out of there. It was just seems like madness, but well, I guess that's the way it is now, maybe. Oh, okay. Anyway, we don't have to worry about that in this game. We have a standard battle. I do enjoy playing Domination above all else. Epicenter, actually, I really do enjoy Epicenter now that we're talking about it. But anyway, Standard Battle depends on the map for me, on whether or not I'm going to like it. I do like Standard Battle on Hotspot. I think this is a good Standard Battle map. Well, a good map overall. I think this would be a great map for any game mode. We already see Bastion. We know Standard Battle. Domination is on here. I think an Epicenter would be interesting, but we'd need to add some more landmass in the center of the map. But yeah, I think it's a good versatile map. So I enjoy that we're on hotspot here. Now immediately we see an enemy destroyer, and I've pushed in pretty aggressively into where we would find over here on the east side of the map, where we'd find that point, trying to support my enemy destroyer or my allied destroyers. And in return, we have this enemy destroyer here. Now the enemy destroyer is in a bad way. Player's on fire, not looking very good. One of my allies goes in, finishes the player off. Excellent. We are more or less cruising right at the enemy base. Now, I fully expected to come across some enemy ships here, and what I'm trying to do is get into this smoke, because I'm convinced that on the other side of that smoke are enemies, and those enemies are going to be fairly angry, and they're probably going to want to kill me, and they may kill me. So I'm going to need to get into the smoke, potentially pop my smoke once this stuff goes away, and turn to get my torpedoes off. Because 8-kilometer torpedoes is what you have in the Kutuzov here. And you can get some things done with those 8-kilometer torpedoes, not going to lie. It is pretty great. At the Donskoy on Tier 9 you get them, and unfortunately the Moskva does not have torpedoes, which is always interesting. But anyway, turning to, get broadside so I can be invisible, fire off my torpedoes at the enemy ships that I think are going to be here. Taking a look around, you see the enemy North Carolina driving the other way. I know that, it's not a matter of not being able to see the enemies, because I have the destroyers, my allied destroyers, out in front of me here, right, spotting. They don't see anything either, so it looks like the entire enemy team is on its way over to the west side of the map, leaving the east, southeast relatively open, and us just being able to just cruise on into their base. So fantastic. We are going to go ahead and see what we can't do about getting this base captured. In the meantime, we're going to use the excellent range of the Kutuzov to rain fire down upon our enemies in hopes that they burn in a horrible, horrible death. That would be pretty great at this point in time. We can see some of the enemy ships, or rather, yeah, I've set a few fires. We can see, who is that? Is that the Colorado or the New Mexico? One of those ships. I am going to harass this player for quite some time. The reason? This enemy battleship did not do anything to try and avoid my shells. Not at first, anyway. And it makes it very easy to get a few salvos into the player, set the player on fire, let the player repair the fire, and then all of your preceding shells and fires that you set will go for their full duration. So that is really good, and that's what I'm trying to do. And because the player sailed in a broadside and was closest to me as well, I guess, it makes it very easy to pull this off and to get this done. So perfect, fantastic, why not? You can see the battle is very, very early in, and we are already capping their base. Enemies have lost 2 vessels, we've lost 2 vessels, not too bad, but the enemy does still continue their charge over onto the west side. At this point in time, the enemies don't have a whole lot of chance of actually being able to stop our cap, right? We have 2 allied destroyers, myself, I think there's another allied vessel with me. I'm not sure if it's a battleship or a cruiser, but it is with me. I'm going to pop my smoke, and Obviously, I waited until I got into the enemy base to pop my smoke, and now I'm just going to sit here and burn these people down. Why not? It is so easy to do. We see the enemy North Carolina, right, just on the starboard side of the enemy ship that we're setting on fire now, turning around and heading towards us. So I know that that is going to be my next target. If I can just set this player over here on fire once more, just as a parting gesture, right? Because we can see the fires I've set have gone out because the player used a repair. I just want one more parting fire, just so the player will remember me, have something to remember me by. Then I'll switch over to the North Carolina and start working over that player. We can see the repair party did put out that second fire that I set. So if that salvo can go in there and set the fire, I should be okay to switch over to the enemy North Carolina. Don't really have the time though to sit around and wait. I'm just going to have to hope, and we are going to start pelting the enemy North Carolina. And this is something, again, that I really enjoy about cruisers and their high explosive damage capability. Because when an enemy, North Carolina happens a lot, well, American battleships, higher tier battleships, when they decide to go bow onto you and they think that they are king ship because they're bow on and there's nothing that you are going to be able to do, nah, it doesn't matter. Just throw your high explosive at them, set them on fire, make them pay. It is amazing, especially when you're in the Kutov and you do have your smoke like this. Now, we have shown a video in the past, I think it was myself and Cannibal, Kutov and Chapiev divisions. Those divisions can get very, very deadly indeed, because the wonders of smoke and radar is just phenomenal. Anyway, my smoke is gone, so we need to start moving around here so that the enemy North Carolina doesn't kill me. Because even though, you know, we're doing pretty decently at this point in time, enemy North Carolina could look at us and potentially just kill us in one shot, ruin the whole game. So we don't want this to happen. We do still have a number of allies down here in the enemy base with us. We can see some on the minimap. We can see some of the enemy ships have turned around and they are coming towards us here at base. So we are going to have to deal with some more enemy ships, but hopefully this won't be too big of an issue for us. We do still have some decent forces and another allied ship coming in to reinforce us down here, so maybe we can pull this off, assuming of course our destroyers are on the ball and actually start destroying things. Not to say that they haven't been doing a good job so far, just saying if the destroyer decides to take out a few enemy ships, that would be amazing. We do see our friendly destroyer is coming under fire, so that's kind of concerning. I'm doing what I can here to try and keep the fires going on the enemy North Carolina. And we can see that this player has been burning for quite some time. So hopefully as well I'll get myself a nice arsonist medal, assuming that I actually do get the kill, because we do see ally torpedoes going in. Whatever. There we go. Enemy North Carolina is down. Perfect. We do see an enemy Atlanta there off in the distance. Want to be careful with this player. Atlanta is a deadly ship, especially once you are within her range. She will just rain down shells on you, and it is going to be hell. So we're going to try and get the player gone as quick as we possibly can. We can see some shots are going in, doing a bit of damage, which is not too bad at all. Smoke has gone up, so maybe in fact that is a flint. Not 100% sure, but that player is going to have to go down. We switch over to another enemy battleship that is making its way over here to try and prevent our capture. Actually, it's an Admiral Hipper, not a battleship. But still, we do need to do something about this Hipper. Now, my smoke has been up for some time, so I imagine it's going to go down shortly. I don't have the mod that tells me how much time is left on my smoke. I know it's fairly easy to get and fairly easy to have, but I don't know. It feels cheap. If it comes standard in game, I'll start using it. But if there's a mod for it, I don't know. Maybe. I still have to think about that one. But anyway, we set a few fires to the Admiral Hipper there, which is great. I'm trying to avoid the Hipper, right? I don't want the Hipper to start firing at me, because the armor piercing on that Hipper will just rip right through me, citadel me multiple times, and just ruin my whole day. So trying to avoid that from happening. We're still in our smoke, but we can see the smoke is going to start disappearing here shortly. So we are going to have to start maneuvering around and planning what we are going to do. Now, this is really what makes or breaks a cruiser captain, is as soon as, you know, you are spotted in a situation like this, you do really have to start maneuvering around and just taking everything in, right? Like, we do have the Admiral Hipper. I'm firing at the Hipper, but in the background we do see the enemy Atlanta. Looking at the minimap, we also notice there's another enemy ship here as well, so we need to be aware of what is going on, right? We do have the Admiral Hipper on fire. You can see my torpedoes are going in as well, so hopefully the Admiral Hipper is going to be going down shortly. Then we can move in and start working over that flint. There we go. Admiral Hipper is gone, and we're going to come in here and start shooting down this flint. The American ships in general do seem to be fairly susceptible to fire. I don't know. Well, the cruisers specifically, I should say, are just, they just seem very susceptible to HE damage, and it is really nice. I'm not complaining, because it means that I can continue to fire high explosive at the player, even though, you know, we're relatively close range, and armor piercing would be an option, definite option here in this instance. But my high explosive, you can see, is doing the job quite nicely indeed. So there we go. Enemy player is down. Fantastic. 4 enemy ships remaining versus our 3. So somewhere along in this melee here, we did lose quite a bit of our allies, but we're hoping that we're going to be able to hold on here and maybe get something more accomplished. Mainly capping out the enemy base. Yes. So we're going to sit here and start capping. Now, I don't know what the school or the train of thought is on this, but when you're in a sort of situation like this where you kind of figure, like if we look at the minimap, there's 4 enemy ships remaining, we know where 2 of them are, we know where 3 of them are now, we can probably say that the majority of enemy ships are up there and that they're not near us. So, would you just bring your engines to a stop and just sit here, or, you know, would you still continue to maneuver around the cap? I myself continue to maneuver around the cap. Whether or not this is good, I don't know, but it does make me feel better, right? Because what if something were to happen? Like, what if some crazy chance I get spotted and I'm just sitting there and all the enemy has to do is fire a shot? Even though they only saw me for a split second, they saw that I wasn't moving, and they just have to fire a shot and then I'm dead, right? Or at least they hit me and reset the cap and they might win. So really don't like the idea of just sitting around in the cap. I'm always moving, and in this instance I'm just going to sail in a circle. Just sail in a circle. Yes. This is the answer for most of your problems in ships. If you just sail in a circle, if you know, where am I going to go, what is the team doing, I know. I'll sail in a circle, wait for the team to figure out, and then I will follow the team, get out of my circle, you know, do whatever needs to be done. That is usually a good thing to do, and it works out pretty decently for me most of the time anyway. Now, that being said, we should not all sail in circles. That would be a little ridiculous. We can see the enemy has started capping our base, but there's really nothing that they're going to be able to do about it at this point in time. We're hoping that the North Carolina, our allied North Carolina, doesn't actually sail out of the cap. That would be unfortunate. And for myself, I just continue to sail in my circle. There is nothing that the enemy ships are going to be able to do to get down here and prevent our capture of their base, right? Unless by some miracle they fire and happen to hit us, it's ours. Fortunately for us, of course this doesn't happen, so battle is over and victory is ours. Not too bad of a game in the old Kutuzov, and I do really enjoy this Kutuzov. It is phenomenal. Anyway, 113,000 damage dealt, 498,000 credits earned, I think, something like that. Top of the team overall, which is not too bad at all. Always good to see, and then we can flip over to the damage. We can see some of the damage dealt really did burn down that North Carolina pretty good, and it turns out it was a New Mexico for about 32,000 damage that I did to that player, so not too bad at all. 428,000 credits is what I do end up walking away with, which is good because I'm pretty poor right now in ships. I bought the Tier 5 German destroyer, I bought my Izumo, so I finally have the Izumo. Bought the Edinburgh. What else did I get? I think that's about it. So running low on credits. Gonna need to do some grinding here, some premium to get some more. But anyway, we'll take a look at the old container here. What it has in store for me. It's nothing special, but I do hope, once again, that your holidays have been great and that you are looking forward to the new year. You know, as always, I do hope you enjoyed the video today. Leave any comments you have for me in the video section below. Love reading those and responding back to them. Remember to hit the old like button if you did like today's video. Hit subscribe if you are not a subscriber. And of course, I do hope you enjoy the rest of your day.